Hey stamping friends, this is Kim Quady with KimPlaysWithPaper.com joining you today for a Facebook Live. I participated in the Maui Achievers blog hop yesterday. It went live and it has card samples from demonstrators from all over the world, demonstrators who have earned the incentive trip to Hawaii. So I participated in that, and I had this thought in my head, and if you guys get thoughts in your head like I do, then they never go away. So my goal was to use one particular feature of Stampin' Up's holiday catalog, and that is the red velvet paper. This stuff is really, really pretty, so I thought, how can I really use that in a fun way? Hey Wendy, thanks for joining me this morning. So what I did was create two different cards because I couldn't decide which card I liked best, and I put the cards on my Facebook page yesterday and people voted for them to tell me which one was their favorite. And so today I'll be showing you how I made that card. I'll show you the first one and the second one, and you can see which one you like better, but a lot of people weighed in and I was kind of surprised to see their vote. So I am going to move the camera down. Hello, Marty. Thanks for joining me from Florida this morning. I hope that where you lived, you didn't have bad weather last week. So let me get started and show you the fun card I made with Stampin' Up's Red Velvet. Hang tight. Hello, Mary Kay. Thanks for joining me. All right. Okay. So these are the two cards I created for yesterday's blog hop. Card 1 and card 2. So yesterday on my Facebook page, people voted, and the winner was card 2. So I am going to show you what I used for card 2. Believe it or not, when I looked at this, there is no stamping whatsoever on this card. It's die cuts and paper. So I was kind of surprised. This card, however, had some stamping, and it actually used the Ho 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 from the little treat set, and I colored the stamp with the Stampin' Right marker and stamped it onto these teeny little pieces. So that was a challenge, but it turned out. So I will kind of show you the ingredients I used for that. Well, Marty, I'm so glad that you didn't get a lot, just some rain last week, because I hear there was a little bit of damage in some other places. All right, so the card uses a Pear Pizzazz card base. I'm putting my paper all over the place. That card base measures 8.5 by 5.5. and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper, and that is 4 1/4 by 5.5. It covers the entire card front, and I'll show you how a little tip I have for that in a little bit. Then I have a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and it measures 5 by 3.5. And I ran it through the Subtles embossing folder before I started putting the elements on top of the card. I have a Whisper White piece of cardstock, and this was with a stitched rectangle, and this was a layering circles dies, and I ran those through the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder just to give them a little bit of texture. And then the bloom, the little pom-pom for that hat actually came from the small bloom punch that's in Stampin' Up's annual catalog. I also used the red rhinestones. Lots of little pieces to this. And then I cut using Stampin' Up's Playful Alphabets dies. Good morning, Cindy. How are you today? Yeah, it's a fun card, isn't it? I just kind of whimsical. So I cut the ho 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 3 times out of Stampin' Up's red velvet paper. Good morning, Pat. Thanks for watching. I'll show you too what I did with these. Stampin' Up has some awesome adhesive sheets, so I put the adhesive sheet the back of the velvet before running it through, and it makes it so much easier to apply to the card when it's time for that than trying to get all the little glue dots. And then the star of the show is my red velvet that I cut from one of Stampin' Up's Stitched Triangles dies, and I've just been loving these dies at the holiday season. I've used all varieties of designer series paper to make trees out of them. So let me show you kind of how that goes together. I think my fun trick was I use the Stamparatus, because usually when we do card fronts, I'll just take that off. When we do card fronts, we usually layer, and we don't always slide we don't use the entire front of the card. Hey, good morning, Beth. And so I don't know about you. I'm not always one for getting things on straight, and it bothers me. So I tucked my card front into the corner of the Stamparatus. And then glue is another thing that sometimes I get too much of, but I will put some glue on the back of that Heartwarming Hugs layer. And then to ensure that I'm going to get that straight, that's tucked in, I'm just going to tuck that right into the corner, and that is going to go on easy peasy, just like that. So the Stamparatus has a lot of uses, and this is another just alternate use for that. So I'm going to set that aside, and then we'll start putting the rest of the pieces of that card together. And you might want to stay tuned to at the end, I'm going to be showing a handful of card samples that I've received in the last week, and there's some really fun ones in there that we made during On Stage and with some new stamp sets. So let me just slide this up here. Thank you, you guys. It was such a fun card, and I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus to put my Pear Pizzazz piece that's embossed with the Subtles embossing folder. Put that right here in the middle of the card. And then I can start layering my hat. Let's start with the triangle base. I need to be sure to put that at a little angle so that I have room for the ho ho ho. I'm going to use a bunch of glue dots, and they come off really easy. This velvet paper, I wasn't sure, but it can be punched as well. So I was experimenting with the gift bow punch, and it works really well for that. So there might be a card for that in the near future as well. Then I'll go ahead and tack on my stitched rectangle that I put through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Put a bunch of glue dots on the back of that. Give the little hat band. Now, when I polled my team, we discussed whether or not that hat should have the circle pom-pom or if it should have the bloom pom-pom. I like the bloom because it facilitates a little rhinestone in the middle, where maybe not so much with the circle. Any thoughts? Should I just make it like it's supposed to be? Well, no one knows what it's supposed to look like, so it's fine. So we'll just, I will put the bloom on there so we can put a jewel. All right. And then these letters are ready to go on. Here are all my ho ho ho. Like I mentioned earlier, I did use Stampin' Up's adhesive sheets so that they'll go on easily without me having to put a lot of glue dots or glue. And you know what I thought too, that if I do them kind of crooked, like he's actually ho, 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 I can, you chose the flower because it was the Hawaiian. That's a good point. So I decided that if I put these on kind of crooked, then I don't have to worry about them actually being crooked if they're all like that. Does that make sense? Because sometimes that, hello, Chris, thanks for popping in. So I'll just peel off the, it's always a surprise how that just peels right off, and just put some fun letters on the front. And this is also done in that velvet, so that's just a super fun paper. I'm guessing that as paper crafters, a lot of you are addicted to all the fun designer series paper too. So just peeling off my, and then it's sticking to my fingers, of course. Thank you. It's I've just made a ton of cards with the stitched triangles, and there we go. Thanks for hanging with me while I peel off the letters. And of course, when you want them to come off, good morning, Veronica. A little cockeye. I know, you try hard, and I always say the reason I started stamping is because a demonstrator, 25 years ago said, it's handmade, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that was just my style. So there we go. Ho, ho, ho. And then all we have to do is add those red rhinestones, and those are in the annual catalog. Yes, it's quick and easy, and good morning, Veronica. Thanks for popping in. And there's no stamping involved, which is kind of crazy. But, and then the suggestion was to put the little rhinestones. I really should take my pick tool and get those, but I'll use my fingernails instead. So there we go. Alrighty. So that is the Santa hat card using Stampin' Up's stitched triangles dies, as well as the red velvet cardstock. And there's the first one that I made with the smaller ho 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 on it using the little treat stamp set. So thanks for watching that video today. It will also be available on YouTube if you want to wander over and see what's going on in my YouTube channel and subscribe. I try to put a new video up each week. I'll also be back next Tuesday morning at 8:30 for a fun video, but Friday there's a kit for that. So, now, if you just want to hang with me, I'm going to show you a few cards I've gotten this week that are kind of fun. If you haven't heard, the Stampin' Up! Catalog has been available for viewing for demonstrators, and one of the items that everybody can now pre-order is the Curvy Celebration stamp set and the Curvy dies. So a friend, Teresa, made me some of these cards. So I'm just going to share a couple of those with you. That's a real fun one using all of Stampin' Up's in colors. You can now get your hands on this stamp set and the dies anytime ahead of the catalog. Let me know if you need more information on that. That's one of them. Just a real varied amount of things you can do with those curvy You're One in a Million. This also uses the Curvy Celebrations and the Curvy dies. And one more, super cute. You can see the versatility with that. Then there's a limited time only release that coordinates with that called the Curvy Christmas, so that you can make holiday cards with that as well. So that's super fun. This is also another holiday card made with Curvy Christmas and the Curvy dies. Love the gold striping there. Again, this was created by Teresa Huffman in Colorado. And then we had a small gathering at my house during On Stage. A few of the demonstrators who lived near me and a couple from out of town came. So we had a make and take session. And this one was created by Ginger Borneman. That's a really fun fold. And that card uses the Whale of a Time Suite and the Whale Done stamp set. Love how that the whale punch and then the embossing there. Another make and take was created by Beth Doty and Kathy Bloom using the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set and the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. Love that ribbon. I just bought some of that after they used it. They also made us a really cute, super cute box with the gnomes, and I've got it tied shut with that awesome ribbon, but you can stick a glue bottle in there, or candy fits in there as well. So those are really fun. We had a couple of designs to choose from there. The next card was, our make and take was created by Gina Caravetta, and it uses the Coming Home bundle and the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. Just love the little gold houses with the red roof and the ribbon. The next card is, I've received this in the mail from one of my team members, Lisa Draper, and she's using the Life is Beautiful stamp set and the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. That 6x6 Designer Series paper has been super popular this year, and I just love how she put the fall colors on that card. Super fun. And then comes the brand new, some cards from the brand new stamp sets that we'll be seeing in the catalog, called the Dragonfly Garden. So there's one of our make and takes with that. You see the mini dragonfly punch. It's, here's another one. Love the sentiments in there. And so the punch has both a large dragonfly and the small dragonfly that goes with the stamp set. Hey, Stacy, yes, be sure to watch the replay, the fun, to see the fun card that I made with the Santa hat, and then the cards that I've received in the mail this week. And speaking of that, if you have any questions about any of the cards or want more details on how to put them together, let me know. I'd love to get you some details on these fun cards. So that's another one using our Dragonfly Garden and some of the new Designer Series paper. And while we were all sitting around, we cased a card from someone, I'm sure it was on stage, but just so simple, so pretty, a little bit of coloring, and we put some Wink of Stella on the butterfly wings. So lots of fun card samples. It's fun to get new ideas and new cards in the mail, and as the holidays come, we'll be able to share quite a few more. So again, let me know if you have any questions about any of these and how I can help. I appreciate you popping by and watching today. My blog is kimplayswithpaper.com. So stop by for card ideas and specials and what's going on with Stampin' Up. I will be back Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning to do a special edition of There's a Kit for That, and I'll be back Tuesday at 8:30. So everyone have an awesome day and an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for popping in. Bye-bye.